pleased to virtually invite Mr. Ashish Khanna, CEO, Tata Power Renewables Energy Limited, today with us. A leading and seasoned clean energy stalwart, Mr. Ashish Khanna is on a mission to reshape the renewable energy realm in India. He currently spearheads the renewables arms of Tata Power as CEO, Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited, wherein he is vested with the responsibility of growing the firm's clean energy business. Today, Mr. Khanna presides a sizable professional fund, with India's renewable energy sector being dubbed as the fourth most attractive market in the world. Mr. Ashish would be talking about the changing market dynamics in the renewable and sustainability landscape and, and its impact to business and expectations from Siemens.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening to each one of you. Frankly speaking, I am more nervous today in addressing this gathering than I have ever been in the past. With the stalwarts of the industry, and then to give them some gyan is generally beyond me, but I will attempt to say what I can, and maybe some of it can be of some value to you. First of all, thanks for inviting me. It takes courage. Believe me, we also have a customer centricity sort of conferences, but it takes courage to invite someone without knowing what all he can speak and how the recipient will take it, and that too by a company like Siemens. So when I was looking at it and thinking about, I realized that there is so much we have in common, and there is so much which we need to learn from each other. We have in common of a legacy, we have a common of a brand. Siemens, the first word came in, is actually an organization which we all would have loved to join from the college. Somehow Siemens never took me. I was not that illustrative enough like some of my senior college mates, which I can see out in the audience too. But having said that, I think it was not a loss for Siemens. But in any case, on a serious note, I think the important factor out here is how these organizations are going on. You are strong, you have a brand, you are the best in your segment. We are also strong in renewable segment. We have a lot of potential. We claim that we are the best. But having said that, the dynamics has changed. Having said that, after taking over this position, I realize what I and we consider as the best for the customer is not exactly always the best. It's my view about the customer. It's my view about what the customer needs. And it is also my view of how he should utilize it and what should be his expectation on the service part. What I've realized that in this generation change, which is changing very frequently now, in my time, the generation used to change from my father to me. Now, after every 5 to 10 years, there is a new generation which comes across. And it is very important for people like us to take cognizance of this fact that generation is changing very fast. And are we meeting those criteria? Especially in the industry I am in and where I belong to. Frame 5, frame 6, frame 7, Siemens machines, or even in the power sector, it used to take a decades to get from one to another. Now here in the renewable segment, if I can use it as an example of how changes are happening, we have a new technology after every 2 years. After every 3 years, I have to change my technology in my manufacturing unit. It's so fast. I can't think of having a depreciation beyond 5 years, which was not the case when I have power industries or I have those machines which are fossil fuel based. This is new energy segment. Similarly, we have new communication segments. Similarly, we have new industries. We have a new mindset. We have a new mindset of a consumer, whether it is B2B, B2C, B2G, we may define in any manner, but the mindset has changed. And that is where I think it is important for us to change. An organization like us need to understand that if we will not change, someone else will overtake us. Having a legacy of 100 years doesn't allow us to change very quickly. That agility part is not there. We feel that what has worked for us for last 100 years is going to work for us for next 100 years too. Yes, our values will work for us, our ethics will work for us, our dedication will work for us, our professionalism will work for us. But maybe the solution which we are creating after every 5 years may not work for us at the 10th year end. And maybe the solution requires to be there for us after every 5 months rather than 5 years. The dynamics of renewable industry, and I fail to understand why companies like GE, Siemens are not the stalwarts. And when I look into it and I introspect, I believe that most of us has not seen this change happening so fast. Most of us has missed the way the agility is required to cater to this type of business. I'm not saying that we are not successful, but I am saying we are not still number one in the field we are in, and there are reasons behind it. There is a reasons of not coming with innovation to the extent it is required. There is a reason for not understanding that while quality is very important, but there are many aspects of a quality which I can always lower for something else, which is more critical. And I think it is important for us now to look at least this industry where I belong to has given us immense lessons. This is the future. I'm not undermining the other type of energy segment or the smart grids or many other things, the EV, the charging stations. They all are the future out there and they all were there in the past too. Important factor is the company like us, company like you, are having a pole positions here. Unfortunately, I don't think so that in the complete food chain or solution provider, including services, we hold the pole position or you hold the pole position. Tata Power is still lucky enough to be holding some pole positions in some of the segments we represent. And that is very important for us to keep on holding this pole position. And I think that is where my suggestion and my expectation from an organization like you is that you have immensely and amazing products and services. But having said that, there is a lot which goes beyond it. There is a weight which it carries. There is a cost which it carries. The current system of renewable is more attuned to those who are startups, which is just a phase of life. But then we all have to be more agile and more innovative in that sense. I also realized that in our decision making process too, we need to change ourselves. You also need to change yourselves. Many times it's good to know how someone else is providing an equivalent services and product at a much cost effective solutions to us. It's very easy to comment that God, they don't know what they are doing. But then if 90% of the clients are opting for them, then I can't be oblivious of it that that is what is required in this industry. I think some of us take that very high pedestal approach that God, they don't know what they are doing. Maybe after 5 to 10 years, they will realize. But having said that, the today's customer, some of them are only looking for a life cycle of 5 to 10 years. Is it right and wrong is a philosophical question. But for a business, that is an opportunity which we are missing. I'm not saying that we should give them an inferior product or inferior services, but we have to attune to our models and products and services which can cater to this large proportion of the customers which are in front of us. And we are not catering because we are at a higher pedestal level. I think we need to revisit that particular aspect. The other thing which I realized with my little experience of working in multinationals is also that culture played a very important role in the decision making process. Very, very important role in a decision making process. And while having a multinationals bring on the best of the product and services and system and processes from outside, many times it is required to be tuned for that particular country and that particular culture. Many times saying handshake and saying I accept is more important than 23 page of a contract between two companies, because at the end of the day it is the humans who are going to even enforce that contract. The factor of safety is very important. Risk mitigations are immensely important, but having said that, we cannot take away the fact that there was business which was happening without these being articulated in that manner. Business is business. Business is providing services and a client who's satisfied with it, because at the end of the day, that is where we get our living from. Sometimes in our few experiences of not so great transactions, we override all that trust and faith in some of the customers which we should definitely they deserve. And I think that is where I would say that each one of us has to look at the clients in a different manner. The Last part which I would like to say out here is that I have seen many organizations, I would not like to name on a public platform like this, who were even more amazing and were a role models for many other organizations 2 or 3 decades ago, which are a part of your industry. They're still doing very good, but many of them has not seen the emergence of many industries, including renewables, as a part of energy in the early decades. And because of that, many other companies were not even into existence in last 1 or 2 decades back has taken a lot of prominence. They might be coming from a particular region, a particular country. We all have explanations of why they succeeded and why we did not. But at the end of the day, success has its reasons and so is failures. And I would not like, at least for myself and an organization like Siemens, to ever accept that we were not able to succeed because we have not anticipated the changes so well. The world is changing very fast. Take my word on this. I am in it day in and day out. The next generation who's working for us is also very different. My workforce is different. My customer is changing. My environments are changing every time. What matters to me sometime back as a customer or as a service provider is the lowest of priority after a few years. So for us to look at the future of what is coming and accept that fact that there could be some failure from our side, but by and large, we will be very successful, is a new way which we have to look into it. From renewable standpoint, like I said, I have seen technology or enhancement in technology and innovations which I have never come across in prior to this avatar of mine in fossil fuel or otherwise in the infrastructure segment. But the fact remains that this is where it is. I'm also very pleased to see how Siemens in this segment has come out with so many new products as such. But my wish is that if Siemens has such a great legacy, you have such great products, people who provide amazing services, I hope one day you are also taking the pole positions in all the product and services which you are providing. The reason lies with you. I am no one, absolutely no one to comment on it. Neither my comments are relevant. But all I can tell you is that with our experience and my personal experience on it, I have realized that the world changes much more quicker than what I could ever anticipate. If we are not innovating, and innovation doesn't mean changing frame 5 to frame 6 or new sites of AC/DC solutions. Innovations could be some small jugars which can help to make a customer happy or my product like a less expensive, or maybe bringing out the redundancy which is not required at all. Most of us in our segment are also looking at that. In fact, I have started looking at it on how my turnaround time can squeeze in. Believe me, it has helped my business in much better way than all the other things which I have done as a part of the processes. There were those small things. There were those small interventions and jugaads which we did. We learned from others too, including Chinese for that matter, and then take this forward on it. Today, I think I might be quoting someone else in the process, but yes, there is a huge sense and euphoria for Atmanirbhar Bharat, if I can use that terminology. I think there is a huge potential for India today to not only for Atmanirbhar, but even to export. I didn't want to coin the word which has been used by someone else. But at the end of the day, there is a huge potential on which we are sitting as an alternative, or not only as an alternative, but to be as a first provider of products as well as services in this country, for this country, and even outside this country. We have amazing potential on it. We have a workforce which is very agile and young. But the challenge is that most of us who have gone beyond 50 need to actually know how to harness that workforce. If I can utilize that workforce, utilize the innovation available here and even outside, even as a good adopter of technology, if I can utilize the potential which is available in this country and for outside, I think it is a decade for each one of us. I would like to wish Siemens the best. You are the best in the field you are. I wish and pray that you even succeed on those areas where you are still not the best in terms of the maximum business and taking the pole positions out there. Once again, thank you for inviting me. Like I said, it takes courage, it takes patience for doing something like this. Really appreciate you and would love to invite many of you in our place and a workplace too and learn from you in that process. Thank you very much.